Hey there, my friends. How are you? Have you recovered from free practice 1 for the Brazilian GP? I hope so, since now we have all the excitement from qualifying for the sprint race, which promise to be very balanced and have some surprises in Interlagos, with the chance of rain as an extra point to keep an eye on. But before I tell you all the details of what happened on the track, I invite you to subscribe and activate notifications here on the channel, since that's the only way you'll not miss absolutely any detail of this special weekend. And if you like full videos like this one, leave a like to support our work. So, without further ado, let's get to what happened on the track, where all eyes were focused on Oliver Bearman, Haas reserve driver, who was replacing Kevin Magnussen in this session. Remember that Magnussen had health problems and ended up being left out of today's activities, with Bearman doing very well in practice 1 and securing 3rd place. Besides him, Verstappen was also an unknown quantity, since the driver was very discreet for most of the time, but in the final stretch, he had a very good lap, perhaps for 1st place. However, shortly before finishing the lap, the driver aborted and went to his garage, leaving the real pace of Red Bull this weekend up in the air. Starting SQ1, the first part of this qualifying, which is a little faster than tomorrow's qualifying, we initially had no rain. However, the sky was very dark on the horizon, with the forecast that rain could arrive even before the end of this qualifying. The first part lasts only 12 minutes, so right from the start, everyone went to the track to get their laps in, without running the risk of leaving it until the end and ending up in trouble. The first to pull the pack was Charles Leclerc from Ferrari, with Max Verstappen being the last driver to go to the track, waiting a few extra minutes and taking risks with the unpredictable weather in Sao Paulo. In this first part, all drivers used medium tires, as required by the regulations, with the 5 slowest drivers being eliminated after 12 minutes. After all drivers' first attempts, Piastri took 1st place, Nico Hülkenberg was 2nd, Haas performing well at Interlagos, and Liam Lawson, another surprise, in 3rd. Verstappen was 4th and Norris 5th. Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, Franco Colapinto, and Guan Yu Zhou were already in the elimination zone. And after this first lap, most drivers returned to their garages to change tires, with only the Ferrari cars staying on the track for a 2nd lap, as they did not have very good times and preferred not to take risks. Some drivers chose not to go out, such as Verstappen and Hülkenberg, who trusted in their time. And with the clock at 0, Lando Norris set an excellent time, almost 8/10 faster than 2nd-placed Oscar Piastri, taking the lead, with Piastri in 2nd and Albon in a very good 3rd. Verstappen was 6th. Perez went through to Q2, as did the 2 Ferrari cars and the 2 Mercedes cars. Colapinto also qualified, with Guan Yu Zhou being eliminated in this first part, who will be the last at the start of the sprint tomorrow, with Stroll in 19th, Tsunoda in 18th, Ocon in 17th, and Alonso in 16th. A bad start of the weekend for the Aston Martin cars. Upon reaching SQ2, which lasts 10 minutes, some drivers went out on the track immediately, such as those from Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren. But others chose to stay in the pits and wait a little longer, such as those from Haas, Williams, and Red Bull. And after the first lap of those who went out on the track immediately, Norris was again the fastest, with Sainz in 2nd and Piastri in 3rd. With about 6 minutes to go, Verstappen and Perez went out for their first laps, with the Haas cars remaining in the garage and leaving it until the end. After his lap, Verstappen jumped to 2nd place and Perez was only 8th, getting close to the elimination zone, as several cars had not yet set fast laps. On this first attempt, Verstappen complained about the car's settings, complaining that he could not take turn 4 correctly. At that moment, some drivers went to the garage, and with 3 minutes remaining, several returned to the track, including the Haas drivers and Liam Lawson, who had not yet completed their fastest laps, having only one chance to complete their laps. With the clock running down, Oliver Bearman did an excellent lap and placed himself in 5th place, moving into SQ3, with Norris in 1st, Oscar Piastri in 2nd, and Leclerc in 3rd. Verstappen was 4th, Lawson and Albon qualified, and in the elimination zone, there were several surprises, with Valtteri Bottas in 15th, Franco Colapinto in 14th, Sergio Perez in 13th, eliminating the Red Bull driver again, being joined by Hülkenberg in 12th and Lewis Hamilton, who was unable to put in a good lap and started only 16th in tomorrow's sprint. Coming to the decisive part, SQ3, Lando Norris was the first to go out on the track in search of his laps, with a short time of just 8 minutes running. And due to this shorter time, only the 2 McLaren cars and Alex Albon went out on the track at that time, with the rest of the grid staying in the garage and leaving more time for the final straight for their laps. After the 3 drivers had lapped, Norris was first, Piastri second, and Albon third. With 3 minutes left, the rest of the drivers started to go out on the track, with Verstappen and Russell being the last, trying to leave it until the final seconds to do their times and get the track in the best possible conditions. In this last attempt by the drivers, Bearman had his time deleted, and with the time reset, Oscar Piastri was the fastest and will be the pole position in the sprint race on Saturday, with his teammate Lando Norris in second and Charles Leclerc in third. Completing the top 10, Max Verstappen will be fourth, Carlos Sainz fifth, George Russell sixth, Pierre Gasly seventh, Liam Lawson eighth, Alex Albon ninth, and Oliver Bearman, with no time, 10th.